the asset and just say it's like we've got to come up with that.
Right, Mark, if you could make a presentation, item 8 on the agenda, the Readings.
This council application seeks planning permission for the demolition of garage blocks and associated hard surfacing and the construction of 2 bungalows and an end of terrace dwelling on the garage site for affordable housing. The site is located towards the southwest of the main highway. The Griffin Bowls Club is to the west. You can probably tell where the green squares are. And it has a delivery access to it gained through the site. The terrace property would adjoin number 53 and would broadly replicate the design of the terrace in terms of its position, width, roof, form and materials. So I'm talking about this one here. And the bungalows, which are here, have limited visibility to the street and would appear subordinate to the existing properties facing the highway, which is considered to be suitable given their location. On this slide you can see on top the proposed view from the Readings and the new end of terrace dwelling. So the access to the site is in there, and here's the new end of terrace property. The garages to be removed are shown in red, it's in the middle, and the design of the bungalows is shown at the bottom. So from the front, it's up. There is little notable soft landscaping within the site except 2 small trees at the entrance. So there's one there, one there. These would be removed and replaced with an amended landscape scheme. The council's consultant arborist does not consider the loss of the trees to be significant, and planting of new trees will be possible as part of a detailed scheme, which has been required by a condition. Another condition would ensure that retained vegetation, which would include the landscaping within the Bowls Club, would be protected during construction, and continued access into the Bowls Club site would also be secured. The proposal provides 2 parking spaces for each dwelling in accordance with the parking standards, and there'd also be 1 visitor's parking space. The main local concern with this proposal is that it will reduce the amount of parking available for local residents. The garages are too small for most modern day cars, and few people now use them specifically for parking. In addition, whilst the hard standing seems to be used informally for parking, it is not designated as a car park for immediate residents. So the proposal does not result in a reduction in the amount of formal parking capacity in the area, and the Highway Authority has no objections to this scheme. It's considered that the proposal would make an appropriate use of what's a previously developed site for affordable housing, and the application is therefore recommended for approval subject to the conditions and the informative shown on pages 27 to 30 of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Anne King, if you would like to come forward, I have allowed you to speak. I understand you did ask this morning.
My name's Anne
Can
King.
you turn your microphone on?
Yes, that one.
Thank you very much. That's it.
Yes.
Lovely.
My name's Anne King. I'm the secretary at the Griffin Bowls Club. We just have a couple of concerns in addition to the original representation. Firstly, we can see that access to the compound is being retained. However, the lorry that delivers our topsoil and our chemicals needs to be able to turn around to exit. So when he comes in, the heavy topsoil and everything is put down just inside the gate, but he then needs to turn around, and I would like you to consider whether there is enough room there for a large lorry to have a turning circle. There are 2 parking spaces, but I would imagine that there's no guarantee that they would be able to be used by the lorry because somebody might be parked there. So we would like you to consider the possibility of any more space for this lorry to turn. It is absolutely essential. We cannot run the club without the chemicals. We cannot run the club without the lorry doing his delivery, and he cannot reverse out.
So as an ex-lorry driver, pretty sure he could.
Well, apparently he doesn't reverse out. And the second thing is, we're very concerned about the security of our complex during the building works. Our 2 greens and their upkeep are valued at thousands of pounds, and our equipment is worth thousands of pounds, and it's all in that complex. And so therefore we're asking that while the building work is going on, that there could be security fences in place. Otherwise our complex is going to be very vulnerable once those garages come down. Because once the garages come down round the side, we have a large area of shrubbery, but no protection. Once the buildings go up, the buildings will be the protection. But without the buildings there, that area will be vulnerable, and we cannot afford to have people going into our greens and causing damage. That would not be helpful to us or to you.
Okay.
All right, that's all we need to say.
Lovely, thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you very much for your time.
Right. Mr. Cotton.
Good evening again. As you've just heard, this particular proposal in front of you today is for the redevelopment of the underutilised garage site in the Readings or Readings, I'm not quite sure which. The Readings, excellent, thank you. To create 3 new affordable homes, 2 of which are bungalows. The new homes are to be built and owned by Harlow Council. The new homes have been designed to comply with the space standards set out in the Harlow Design Guide, and both bungalows have been designed to be fully accessible in accordance with the provisions of Part M43 of approved document M of building regs. The proposed terrace house has been designed to be adaptable in accordance with the provisions of Part M42. The proposed development will result in the loss of 2 small trees at the front of the site, and it's anticipated that a detailed landscaping scheme will need to be agreed with officers and submitted as part of the conditions discharge application. And we are hoping to replace the 2 trees with a more appropriate species within that landscaping scheme. There have been a small number of objections, and it's right that I take some time to talk to these. The Readings is a congested housing area with a lack of off-street parking within the estate, but it would be wrong to suggest that this development would exacerbate this situation. Each of the new homes will benefit from the maximum parking allowance to ensure that the parking from the development stays within the site itself. Some residents are currently taking the opportunity to park within the site due to its inactivity and argue that the development will cause their vehicles to be displaced onto the network. Whilst this is true in part, if this development is found to be unacceptable, the council will have to reinstate some sort of use to the site and control parking to maintain access, displacing the unauthorised parking in any case. We know that any construction site causes a short-term disruption to the surrounding area, and the planning officer has recognised this in recommending that you approve the application subject to a condition relating to construction hours and a construction management statement. These are not unreasonable requests. Those managing the construction site will be required to prepare and implement a construction management plan to ensure that deliveries and vehicle movements to and from the site are properly managed to minimise any disruption to surrounding residents. There's also been a query regarding access to and from the Bowls Club. It has never been suggested that access to the Bowls Club be removed, but obviously when the site is an active construction site, access will have to be properly managed in the context of the construction design and management regulations. The construction management plan will have to reflect this and set out appropriate procedures to allow the club to access their site and to ensure that they have a secure boundary. In short, this development proposal is, in our opinion, a good use of an underutilised site and has the potential to deliver 3 well-designed, affordable homes built and owned by Harlow Council. It is worthy of your support, and we commend the officer's recommendations to you. Thank you.
Mr. Cotton, could I, before you leave, could I just ask you to address those 2 issues that have just been raised?
So in terms of the access, in terms of the security of the boundary, obviously when the houses are up, the houses themselves will have secure boundaries, so once the construction site is delivered, that problem disappears. During the construction process, the contractor, whether it's HDS or a subcontractor, however it's delivered, will have to secure the boundaries just to comply with the CDM health and safety regulations. So their construction management plan will have to include how they're going to secure those boundaries. And obviously there is a piece of work to be done with the Bowls Club to work out when they need access, how they need access, how often, and how that's going to be managed by the contractor, which can also cover what their concerns about security are. In terms of vehicle movements, it's difficult to address those because those are the first time I've heard those objections, if you like. My observation would be that the footprint of the garages that we're demolishing are effectively the left-hand side where the terrace property is the garden and the 2 parking spaces at the end, so that's already effectively not a turning circle. There are the parking spaces on the right-hand side as you look at that drawing near the entrance. Again, those are built over the footprint of garages at the moment, so they don't affect the turning head. Obviously, the bungalows are being built down the sort of, is that the right way up? It's down the south end of the site, so down the bottom. So obviously there is an area of hard standing there which will be restricted because there'll be buildings on them. And it's difficult to know, to be honest, without knowing how big the lorry is, how often it's coming.
I'm assuming a waste vehicle needs getting on the site as well.
Yeah, so the refuse truck has already, we've run that past the street scene manager, John Rumby, and he's happy that the access at the top of the road, access road, is sufficient for them to be able to.
So we would have thought that their delivery vehicle would probably be able to use the same spot.
Yeah, because we've done vehicle tracking, so we've done vehicle tracking around the entrance of the site to show that the refuse vehicle and sort of some of the larger removals vans, for example, can access the site through the entrance. Obviously that is reliant on the entrance to the site being clear, and that may well require us to put in some kind of traffic regulation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry. There's a question. Am I going on now?
Yeah.
Would it be possible for a lorry? Would it be possible for a lorry to reverse in?
Certainly, the tracking that we've had done suggests that that is correct. I mean, we have worked. The tracking that we worked through has been on the largest refuse vehicle that the council.
So they can reverse up to.
They reverse up to those. They can reverse right up to those gates, which is where the big collection points are for the bungalows.
Okay. The security for the bowling greens, would that need to come through council for us to approve the
Done on the
security?
building routes.
No, or not?
Be done on the building routes.
No, but there is a condition attached to the recommendation, or a recommended condition that requires us to submit a construction method statement to you for approval as a condition of discharge application. And it would be my view that that construction management plan would need to include how they are going to manage access for the Bowls Club. And certainly, given that it's a council-led project, the council has some say in what the guys building it actually include within that management plan. Now that we know that that is a concern, we can reflect that.
Mark,
Just worth. Sorry, G?
Sorry, yes.
Mark's just going to answer.
I was just going to corroborate what's been said there. We saw the tracking plans for waste vehicles as part of the application, so we've had that information, and it shows that waste vehicles can reverse into the site, and the construction method statement condition that's been submitted, that's a condition would require details to do with security to be submitted through that process.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Call you later.
Thank you.
Any more questions for officers? Yeah.
I'd just like to ask, I heard what the architect said, in as much that it would be made secure and everything like that, and that the Bowls Club are obviously concerned about some sort of fencing. Can we implement the secure fencing for the Bowls Club within the application to make sure that that's put in place?
It's already proposed as a condition.
It's already been proposed as a
condition.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Any more? Yeah, Councillor Garner.
Thank you, Chair. Just the I take it that the Bowls Club have the right of way over this land. There's no
It's a public
well,
road.
it's a public road, but it's owned by the council, is it not? So do they have a legal right to access it? We're not looking at down the road that people in the houses don't want.
I actually don't think that's ever been clarified, but I think the salient point is that the council's proposing that the access is returned anyway.
Plus we own the land.
Can I ask the legal officer if that's sufficient to protect the Bowls Club, their right of access?
It would depend on the terms of the transfers and things around there. I'm not aware of. I've not looked into it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the Bowls Club's been there for a long time, and therefore you get a right of access over that space if you've been using that access for a long period of time. So whether there's actually something legally written down, I don't know. But if they've been proved that they've been using that access over for, I can't quite remember, it's 8 years, you then get a right anyway.
But the bottom
I'm
line
sure
is,
they've been there before.
it wouldn't be down to the residents to refuse access because we own the land.
No, but you know, residents, they suddenly don't like lorries turning up, or
But we own the land.
if the lorries can't get in because the residents
But we own the
parking.
Residents don't.
Yeah, but residents, if they want to park in the middle
Yes,
of the road, they
but
park.
we own the land.
We own the land. You keep saying that, but
So we're not going to allow that to change.
you're not going to allow that to change.
I'm
That's
sure
possible.
should you be in power, you wouldn't allow it to change either.
No, absolutely not. The other one, I think,
But they
has
have rights.
probably been answered, and I don't know whether it's necessary, because you said you've got tracking. Was my thoughts are exactly the same. Is there sufficient room at that entrance for a vehicle like the Bowls Club need to reverse in there, or would we need to look at realigning the entrance?
The tracking plan has been submitted and it shows that they can reverse in there, and our street scene manager was consulted and has about any objections to it.
Okay. Any more questions? Are we done? Debate. Anybody want to speak to this? Councillor.
But two things. Can we deal with also about the hours of operation?
You want to move
7:30
Yeah.
to 6:30.
Yeah.
7:30 to 6:30, is that seconded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just really want, I think the architect said that there are acute parking problems in the Redlands. We're losing 30 garages, be they partly used or not. This is going to only make it worse because you're taking away what people use. Whether they should use them or not is another matter. It's down to the council that they allow them to use it. So that's the only comment I've got, is that it's going to make matters worse in that area. But,
Yeah, but I think the problem is that the garages aren't of a size that can fit a modern car in, so...
they're parking the hard stand. Yeah.
But yes,
Right.
that's a separate
I've
issue.
got all that, yeah.
Anybody else? Councillor Clark?
Well, sorry, feel obliged to praise them. I mean, it is very good that again we have affordable, 100% affordable housing, and in particular the wheelchair accessible housing, and I think that has to be welcomed. As regards the parking is the only thing I agree it's the main issue of concern. Once the Bowls Club has been sorted out, which it seems to be, but I just wanted to stress that we are in support of the proposal in terms of social inclusion, which is the main aspect of it, I think.
Anybody else? No? Okay, we'll move to the vote then. All those in favour of Councillor Garnett's amendment? That is unanimously carried. And all those in favour of recommendations on page 27 to 29 as amended by Councillor Garnett's amendment around access. That is unanimously carried. Thank you very much. Again, if there's anybody that's here just for that one, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to leave as well. Mark?